Welcome back. Have you ever wondered if one of the pennies lying forgotten in a drawer or buried deep in your coin jar could be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars? While most pennies minted in recent decades are only worth face value, a few rare varieties have emerged that continue to fascinate collectors and investors alike. In today's video, we begin our countdown of the top 10 most valuable U.S. pennies, coming in at number 10. The 1984 doubled ear penny. These coins are not just numismatic curiosities. They are pieces of history with the potential to bring in serious money, if you know what to look for. Let's dive in. At first glance, this penny looks almost identical to the billions of others that circulated in the 1980s. But look closely at Abraham Lincoln's portrait, and you might see something very different: an extra earlobe. That's right, this variety is the result of a doubled die error, a fascinating type of mint mistake, where the die that strikes the coin has a duplicated image. In this case, the doubling is located on Lincoln's ear, creating the appearance of a second earlobe just behind the first. It might seem like a small detail, but in the world of coin collecting, small differences can mean big value. The doubling on the 1984 penny is bold and visible to the naked eye, making it one of the most popular and desirable doubled die cents from the Memorial series. Collectors are always on the hunt for strong doubling, and this coin delivers. The value of the 1984 doubled ear penny depends greatly on its condition. In circulated grades, it might fetch $300 to $1,000, but in mint state condition, especially in the coveted red designation, prices can reach $15,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on market demand and grade. Coins graded MS65 red and higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC are especially sought after. What makes this coin even more exciting is that it's a variety most collectors can search for in pocket change or bulk penny rolls. It's not impossible to find, and that's part of the magic, the idea that a single, sharp-eyed discovery could lead to a valuable treasure tucked among common coins. Now, let's move to number 9 on our list. The enigmatic 1980 2D small date bronze Lincoln cent. At first mention, this coin may sound unremarkable. After all, 1982 was a year of transition for the U.S. Mint. In that year alone, the Mint produced 7 different varieties of the Lincoln cent, some made from the traditional bronze composition and others from the new, copper-plated zinc planchets we use today. These changes resulted in multiple date styles, mint marks, and compositions that have become a treasure map for error and variety collectors. The 1980 2D small date bronze cent is so rare, it's almost legendary. Nearly all 1980 2D pennies were struck on the new zinc planchets. However, at least one known example, possibly a few more, was mistakenly struck using the older bronze planchets intended for earlier coins. This wasn't a doubled die or a die crack, it was a wrong planchet error, a minting oversight during a year of transition. So how can collectors tell if they've found one? It all comes down to weight. A regular 1980 2D zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while the bronze version, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, should weigh about 3.1 grams. That may sound like a small difference, but with a precision scale, it's easily detectable. Now here's the kicker: only a tiny handful of these coins have ever surfaced. One verified example sold for over $38,000 at auction. That's right, an ordinary-looking penny with the Denver Mint mark and a small date font, simply struck on the wrong metal planchet, became one of the most valuable post-1950 Lincoln cents known to exist. This coin continues to be one of the holy grails for modern penny hunters. If you're searching through old coin jars or inherited collections, pay special attention to those 1980 2D small date cents. A little extra weight could mean a lot of extra money. Both of these coins, the 1984 doubled ear and the 1980 2D small date bronze, prove that the modern era of U.S. coinage still holds mystery and value. And they serve as a powerful reminder that numismatics isn't just about dusty old coins. It's about the thrill of discovery, the joy of the hunt, and the incredible history hidden in plain sight. Let us begin with a fascinating anomaly, number 8 on our list. The 1970s small date Lincoln cent, known in collecting circles for its subtle details, its scarcity, and the curious little quirk that gives it the nickname High 7. The year was 1970. America was in the middle of enormous change culturally. politically and economically, but in the quiet halls of the San Francisco Mint, a different kind of change was taking place. That year, the U.S. Mint produced pennies with two distinct date varieties, a large date and a small date. And among these, the small date version from the San Francisco Mint quickly stood out, not because it was obvious, but because it was not. To the untrained eye, the difference between the large date and small date might seem insignificant. But collectors know the truth. In numismatics, small differences often carry enormous weight. So what exactly sets the 1970s small date apart? The small date version has a more compact and upright numeral design. Most notably, the 7 in 1970 is set higher than the other numbers, thus earning the designation High 7. It leans forward slightly and appears taller than on the large date counterpart. The tops of the 9 and 0 in the date align almost evenly in the small date version, whereas in the large date, the 0 is clearly taller. It's a detail so subtle, so easy to miss, that many of these rare cents went unnoticed for decades. But rarity always finds its place. In the collector's world, the 1970s small date penny, especially in brilliant uncirculated red condition, is highly coveted. This variety is scarce, and unlike many era coins, this wasn't a mistake at the mint, but rather an intentional variation in design that was produced in much smaller quantities. Finding one in pocket change today would be nothing short of a miracle. Most known examples were found long ago, sorted and certified by collectors who understood the difference. In average circulated condition, it may bring $500 to $1,000, but in pristine mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 red or higher by PCGS or NGC, the value can soar to $40,500 or more. Proof-like strikes and coins with strong eye appeal can command premium prices far beyond their book value. It's not just about grade, it's about market demand, rarity, and collector obsession. And that obsession, it's well earned. The 1970s small date is one of those coins that proves the thrill of numismatics isn't just in the grand discoveries. It's in the small details. A tiny date, a high 7, a subtle shift that turns a common coin into a rare treasure. But as we move forward in our countdown, we fast forward 25 years to one of the most publicized and widely known era varieties of modern U.S. coinage. Number 7 on our list is a penny that caused an explosion of interest in the 1990s and continues to be a favorite among variety collectors to this day. It is the 1995 Doubled Die Obverse Lincoln cent. Unlike the subtlety of the 1970s, the 1995 Doubled Die is bold and unmistakable. The doubling on this penny is clear, dramatic, and easily visible to the naked eye. The letters Liberty, In God We Trust, and even parts of the date show a shadow-like doubling effect that instantly catches the eye. When it was first discovered, this coin sparked a modern gold rush among everyday people. News outlets covered the find. Collectors began hunting rolls of 1995 pennies. The idea that something so unusual could be found in pocket change gave rise to a new generation of hobbyists. For a brief moment, the 1995 Doubled Die became a household term among coin collectors and curious treasure seekers alike. But what causes such dramatic doubling? This type of doubling is the result of a misalignment between the obverse die and the hub during the die creation process. Essentially, the design was struck into the die twice, slightly off-center each time. This causes every coin struck by that die to carry the doubled features. While many doubled dies are faint or require magnification, the 1995 version is among the strongest examples in the Lincoln Memorial series. It is instantly noticeable, particularly in uncirculated condition. Despite its widespread attention in the 90s, this coin remains valuable today, especially in top grades. Circulated examples may be worth $200 to $500, but in mint state, prices increase significantly. In MS65 red, these coins regularly sell for $30,500 to $35,500, and MS67 red examples have sold for over $45,500, depending on the market. But value alone isn't what makes the 1995 Doubled Die special. It's the impact it had on the coin collecting community. This coin introduced many people to the concept of variety collecting. It showed that not all errors are accidental. Some are baked into the die itself, permanent, replicable, and very real. It became a teaching moment for collectors to learn the difference between true doubled dies and mechanical doubling, which is often misleading and far less valuable. The 1995 Doubled Die is a gateway coin, a modern marvel that ignited passion, debate and discovery, and even now, 30 years later, it remains one of the most affordable yet iconic doubled die cents in existence. From the rare 1970s small date to the bold 1995 Doubled Die Obverse. Both of these coins remind us that the most valuable pennies aren't necessarily the oldest or the shiniest, but the ones with stories behind them. Stories of human oversight, mechanical imperfection, and numismatic brilliance. Coming in at number 6 is a variety that slipped under the radar for years. A doubled die so rare, so well hidden, that it has become one of the most sought-after coins of the memorial cent era. It is the 1983 Doubled Die Reverse Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1983 penny appears completely ordinary. It bears the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Millions were struck and circulated, but among those millions lies a version with a striking minting error, one that escaped notice at the time of production, only to be uncovered by sharp-eyed collectors much later. What makes this coin special is that the doubling occurs on the reverse side of the coin, unlike many other doubled die cents, where the doubling appears on the obverse. On the 1983 Doubled Die Reverse, the words 1 cent, United States of America, and the Latin motto, EPLURIBUSUNUM, all exhibit strong doubling. This is not minor or trivial. It's pronounced and visible without magnification, especially in uncirculated condition. The discovery of this coin was groundbreaking. Until then, most known doubled dies appeared on the obverse of the Lincoln cent. A strong doubled reverse was something different, something new, and it added an entirely fresh dimension to the way collectors viewed 1980 S-era pennies. But the story doesn't end with the error itself. There's also the matter of composition. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from a 95% copper alloy to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper plating. By 1983, all Lincoln cents were officially struck on zinc planchets. However, early rumors suggested some 1983 doubled die reverses may have accidentally been struck on leftover bronze planchets, a claim that, if proven, would raise the value even more. While no officially confirmed bronze planchet examples have surfaced in professional grading databases, the intrigue remains. In terms of value, the 1983 doubled die reverse is a star. Circulated examples may sell for $750 to $1,500, depending on visibility of the doubling and overall eye appeal. But uncirculated, red-designated examples certified by PCGS or NGC can bring $50,500 to $60,000, with exceptional examples graded MS66 red or higher selling for over $65,000 at auction. This coin is a classic example of how one tiny difference, introduced by a mistake during the die-making process, can lead to decades of collector excitement. A mistake that wasn't caught by the mint. A mistake that became a masterpiece. Now we arrive at number 5 on our list. A modern rarity whose value is driven not by doubling, but by spacing. It's one of the most widely searched for modern pennies, known for its dramatic deviation from standard minting protocols. This is the 1999 wide AM Lincoln cent. To understand the significance of this coin, we need to take a brief journey into typography, specifically, the spacing of the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin. From 1993 through 2008, the U.S. Mint used a modified reverse design for circulating Lincoln cents. In this design, the letters A and M in America were placed very close together, nearly touching. This is known as the close AM design. However, from 1993 to 2008, proof coins, those minted specifically for collectors using special dies, retained the original wide AM design, in which the A and M are clearly separated. So what happened in 1999? Somehow, a reverse die meant for proof coins, those with the wide AM spacing, was mistakenly used to strike regular circulation coins at the Philadelphia Mint. The result was a tiny number of 1999 Lincoln cents, with a wide AM design in circulation. These were not supposed to exist, and yet a few did. And when they were found, the coin world erupted in fascination. The 1999 wide AM is not an error in the traditional sense. It's a design variety caused by a mix-up in die selection. But the result was a coin that should never have been released to the public. And that makes it extremely desirable. Collectors began checking their change. Dealers began buying rolls of 1999 cents. Entire books and videos were made to teach people how to tell the difference between a close AM and a wide AM. And it's surprisingly easy to do. All you need is a magnifier. On a normal 1999 penny, the A and M in America are nearly touching, so close that there's almost no visible space between them. But on a wide AM, there's a noticeable gap. You can see daylight between the two letters. It's a small detail, but small details can be worth big money. In circulated condition, a 1999 wide AM penny might bring $2,000 to $4,000. But in mint state, the value increases dramatically. A certified MS-65 red example often sells for $55,000 to $56,000, and coins graded MS-67 red have sold for over $67,000 at public auctions. What's more, this coin ignited a trend. Collectors began searching for other wide AM and close AM mix-ups, eventually discovering other rare transition errors in the 1992-2000 period. But the 1999 wide AM remains the most famous and the most valuable of them all. It's a modern treasure, a mistake that proves even in the digital, precision-driven era of modern minting, the human element still leaves room for mystery, for rarity, for discovery. So the next time you hold a 1999 penny in your hand, take a second look. You might not just be holding a coin. You might be holding history, a minting oversight that has turned an ordinary cent into a collector's dream. From the bold doubling of the 1983 reverse to the unexpected spacing of the 1999 wide AM. Both of these coins teach us the same lesson. Numismatics is a world where the tiniest differences carry enormous meaning. A game of millimeters, of shadows, of decisions made decades ago that still ripple through the hobby today. And as we move toward the final 4 coins in our countdown, the stories become even more unbelievable. Values rise, mysteries deepen, and we'll uncover pennies that have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, all because of a detail no one was supposed to see. Let's begin with number 4 on our list. The 1992 close AM Lincoln cent, a variety so rare, so stealthy, that many collectors went decades without even knowing it existed. At first glance, the 1992 penny appears completely typical. Lincoln on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Just another cent among billions. But buried deep within its reverse design lies a tiny, deliberate difference, a design transition that went unnoticed by almost everyone. To understand the 1992 close AM, we have to rewind a bit. In 1993, the United States Mint modified the reverse design of the Lincoln cent. Prior to this, the proof coins used what's known as the wide AM reverse, where the letters A and M in the word America were spaced apart. In contrast, the new circulation reverse design brought those two letters closer together, resulting in the now standard close AM variety for all business strike pennies going forward. But in 1992, before this transition officially took place, a small number of business strike coins were accidentally struck using the new close AM proof reverse dies, a full year before they were supposed to be introduced into circulation. These 1992 close AM cents are the result of an early, unintended die pairing, one of the rarest modern U.S. coin varieties known today. The difference, again, is subtle. On normal 1992 cents, the A and M in America are clearly separated, a wide AM. But on the error coin, the A and M are so close together. They nearly touch. It's a design element so minor, so easily overlooked, that it took years before someone even noticed the mistake. For decades, this variety remained hidden in plain sight. It wasn't until sharp-eyed collectors, emboldened by the discovery of the 1999 wide AM, began closely inspecting earlier pennies, that the 1992 close AM was finally uncovered. When the first verified example hit the market, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. And what makes this error so exciting is its extreme rarity. Only a handful of confirmed examples exist. In fact, as of now, fewer than 20 pieces have been authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, split between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Each new discovery is headline-worthy, with new finds becoming rarer each year as rolls and hoards continue to be searched and exhausted. The value simply staggering for a coin from the 1990s, even in circulated condition. A 1992 close AM can sell for $5,000 to $10,000, depending on eye appeal and wear. But in high mint state grades, the prices soar. A 1992D close AM graded MS64 red once sold for over $80,000 at auction. And in pristine MS67 red, the few known examples can command $87,000 or more, making it one of the most valuable modern cents ever struck. But the intrigue doesn't stop at price. It's the mystery of it all that keeps collectors fascinated. How many are still out there? How many have passed through hands unnoticed? And who will be the next lucky person to pull one from a forgotten roll? This is a coin that turns everyday pocket change into a lottery ticket. A subtle error, a forgotten moment in minting history, and a reminder that even in a world of machines and mass production, accidents still happen, and they can be worth a fortune. And now we move to number 3 on our list, a coin that has become synonymous with doubling, a coin that launched an entire generation of collectors into the hobby. It's bold, it's dramatic, and it's perhaps the most iconic doubled die penny of all time, the 1972 Doubled Die Obverse Lincoln cent. Unlike the subtle spacing of the close AM, the 1972 Doubled Die is all about shock value. When you see it, there is no doubt. The doubling is bold, dramatic, unmistakable. So intense that even an untrained eye can spot it instantly. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the error occurred during the hubbing process, a moment when a working die is created by being pressed with a master hub. If the die receives 2 impressions that are slightly misaligned, it results in a doubled die, and that die, in turn, produces thousands of error coins before it's caught or retired. In the case of the 1972 cent, one of those doubled dies slipped through. The result, a coin with a spectacular doubling on the obverse, particularly on the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1972. The letters appear as if they've been shadowed or echoed, deep, clean and raised. There's no subtlety here, no need for a magnifier. This is a doubled die in its purest, most dramatic form. There are actually several known doubled die varieties for 1972 cents, more than 10 minor varieties cataloged by specialists. But only one is recognized as the major variety, known as FS101 in the numismatic catalog. It's the one with the strongest doubling and the one that commands the most attention and value. As with most error coins, condition is everything. Circulated examples of the 1972 Doubled Die Obverse can sell for $2,000 to $5,000, depending on where, but when you venture into higher grades, particularly those with the red designation, the values grow exponentially. A certified MS65 red example can fetch $90,000 to $95,000. MS66 red pieces push $120,000 or more, and coins graded MS67 red, among the finest known, have brought prices well over $130,000, with the most pristine examples selling at auction for nearly $150,000. And yet, despite its fame and value, this coin still shows up from time to time in old collections, rolls, and forgotten stashes. That's because the Philadelphia Mint struck over 2.9 billion pennies in 1972. And while only a fraction were from the doubled die pair, the sheer volume means the odds of discovery, while slim, are not impossible. The 1972 Doubled Die Obverse is not just a coin. It's a symbol, a coin that made collectors sit up and take notice. A reminder that every coin, no matter how common it may seem, holds the potential for greatness. And so, with these two extraordinary coins, the 1992 Close AM and the 1972 Doubled Die Obverse, we are reminded again why coin collecting continues to captivate hearts and minds. These are not just pennies, they are stories, moments, mistakes that became marvels. As we approach the final 2 coins in our countdown, the most valuable and elusive modern U.S. pennies, we invite you to reflect on just how incredible this journey has been. From tiny errors to national legends, from unnoticed anomalies to 6-figure treasures. Number 2 on our list, the 1955 Doubled Die Obverse Lincoln cent. It was the mid-1950s. The United States was entering a new era, post-war optimism, booming suburbs, shiny new cars, and pocket change jingling in every American's trousers. The Lincoln cent, by then, had become a familiar friend. But in 1955, at the Philadelphia Mint, something went quietly wrong. One of the working dies, used to strike thousands of coins each hour, was accidentally misaligned during the hubbing process. Instead of a clean, single impression from the master hub, the die received a second impression that was slightly off. The result was dramatic. The inscriptions on the coin's obverse, that's the front, the side with Lincoln's portrait, were boldly doubled. The words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1955 appear as if they were shadowed, thick, ghost-like copies of themselves layered, just slightly askew from the originals. The doubling is so pronounced, it's visible with the naked eye. No magnifying glass needed, no squinting. This isn't a whisper of a doubling, this is a shout. It's bold, striking, unmistakable. Roughly 20,000 to 24,000 of these error coins were struck during one late-night shift, likely when tired eyes missed what the die had become. And before anyone realized the mistake, those coins had already been bagged, boxed and shipped off to local banks, grocery stores, and gas stations throughout the Northeast. Word of the coin spread quickly. By the end of the 1950s, it had become one of the first coins to ignite a modern coin-collecting frenzy. People scrambled to find them in their change. Kids searched their piggy banks. Adults scoured penny rolls from the bank. It was a national treasure hunt, fueled by the idea that a simple penny could be worth hundreds of dollars. And over time, that value only grew. In circulated condition, a 1955 doubled die can still fetch between $3,500 and $5,500, even with visible wear. In higher grades, such as AU, about uncirculated, and MS mint state, prices climb quickly. An MS-63 red example might bring $170,000 to $177,000 at auction. MS-65 red and higher. Think $185,000 to $195,000 or more, depending on eye appeal, luster, and market demand. What makes the 1955 doubled die so special isn't just its dramatic look or high value, it's its cultural significance. This was the coin that turned average Americans into treasure hunters, the one that made collectors out of clerks, students, and homemakers, a coin that captured imaginations and still holds a legendary status nearly 70 years later. And yet, despite its fame, it is not the rarest. That honor, our #1 spot, belongs to a coin that almost never saw the light of day. A coin so rare, so closely watched, that its discovery led to Secret Service investigations, counterfeit scares, and headlines in major newspapers. #1 on our list, the 1969 Doubled Die Obverse Lincoln cent. The year was 1969. The world was watching Neil Armstrong walk on the moon. The Vietnam War raged on. Woodstock echoed across a muddy field in New York. And somewhere inside the San Francisco Mint, a die was created that would go down in history, quietly, without warning. That die, intended to strike ordinary pennies, had a serious defect. Like the 1955, it was misaligned during the hubbing process. But the doubling here was not just severe, it was extraordinary. On the obverse, just like with the 1955, the inscriptions are doubled, but this time the doubling is sharper, more defined and deeper. The date 1969 is bold and clearly doubled. The word liberty shows dramatic. Split-style doubling, and "In God We Trust" appears shadowed, as if echoing off the fields of the coin. Unlike the 1955, however, this error was caught quickly. In the early 1970s, when collectors began noticing a few of these unusual coins, they reported them to authorities. At first, suspicion ran high. Was this a counterfeit, a post-mint alteration? The Secret Service even got involved, confiscating several early examples for forensic analysis. But eventually it was confirmed the coin was genuine. It had been struck at the San Francisco Mint, and only a tiny number of pieces escaped into circulation. Today, experts estimate that only 40 to 50 authentic examples exist, perhaps fewer, and that number hasn't grown in years. In the world of numismatics, that is an extremely low survival rate. Which brings us to value. A circulated 1969 doubled die obverse, yes, even with wear, can sell for $130,000 to $160,000. In higher mint state grades, the numbers are staggering. An MS-64 red sold for $226,500 at public auction. Another in MS-66 red brought a jaw-dropping $226,500 again, matching its record. In private sales, prices are rumored to have touched $250,000 or more. This is a penny, a 1-cent coin, worth more than some luxury cars, more than many people's annual salaries, more than a mortgage on a family home. But the true power of the 1969's Doubled Die Obverse lies not just in its monetary value, but in its mythology. It's a coin that collectors dream of, but rarely ever see. A coin that hides among billions. A phantom, a ghost in red copper. So rare, so elusive, that you could search your whole life and never hold one. And yet the dream persists, because all it takes is one roll of pennies, one forgotten jar, one lucky moment, and everything can change. As we conclude this journey through the top 10 most valuable pennies minted after 1950, we are reminded of something profound. Even the smallest things can hold the greatest secrets. Behind every cent lies a story. Behind every error, a stroke of fate. These coins may be copper and zinc, but their stories are pure gold. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below with your favorite rare coin. Who knows, you might inspire someone to check their change and find a fortune.